Well, she's a real beaut, Clark, but don't go falling in love with it because we're going to be using it next season. Maybe. Okay, so what do we got? It's a New Holland Discbine 313, 2016 model. And looking around or walking around, some of you who might be initiated with hay mowers might recognize or see a few problems. To the uninitiated like myself, they're not immediately obvious. Now here's the thing. Some of you, guys like myself, younger guys that farm with their dad, you might have a familiar story. I'm going to try to keep the wind out of the mic. There might be a familiar story where working with your dad's awesome. At least working with mine's awesome. I enjoy like 98% of it. 99, really no complaints. But on occasion, and I know this isn't rare to me, on occasion, there will be a time where it's like, well, we're going to have to go get something and bring it home. It's like, what do you mean? Well, I bid on something on BigIron, and I didn't think I was going to win, but I won. And now I gotta bring it home. So in our case, it seems like some of those things come from the other side of the river. I'm in eastern Nebraska and stuff is coming from western Iowa, and we have to tow it home. The problem with the coming on the other side of the river, Missouri River, might be a 2,000 foot long bridge that's only 20 some foot wide, and this is 13 foot 1 inch, and bringing it across the bridge that's not that wide, a little treacherous. Anyway, we got this home with only a few hiccups, nothing that had to get reported to any law enforcement, so that's good. But a few bumps or detours, but we're good. However, why we got this, why we want it on auction as cheap as we did, it's got a few bumps, it's got a few boo-boos, and I'm gonna walk you around and show you some of those. One of the boo-boos is gonna be right underneath here. That's going to be saved for last. This does not shut. Looks like it's whatever made that boo-boo. I kind of made this one too, so it doesn't close right. Granted, when I strapped this down, it pulled it up, so it actually would line up a little bit better than that. Let's see. The owner's manual is there, so that's good. On the back side, you might notice something. The roller bar is not supposed to hit that. That's a minor thing, not a big deal so far. However, what I noticed is right around here, this little guy, I'd be worried about that little guy. This one's straight, not so straight. Pretty sure that roller is supposed to be a little bit higher. It's not centered on this either. So something has to happen to make that roller bar go up or line up better and transfer. Now, I will say one good thing I've noticed so far, without having looking under the hood yet, is things do turn if you turn this PTO shaft. We'll try that now. A lot easier to turn this if you get rid of that. There we go. Now we watch. If I turn this PTO shaft, I'm hoping everything else turns because there's a lot of gear cases. Okay, so that's moving. I noticed when I turned it, that shaft turns. That doesn't mean positively everything's okay, but it gives me some hope that the gear case that's here and here, so that's two of them, and there, 3 and 4 and 5. I think there's 5 gear cases, right? And see, you're probably gonna notice problem there already, but what I want to see, set this camera up again, I want to see this thing turn. And it does. So it's a good sign to be able to turn that shaft and then see all these turn and transfer power down into that spline. So that's a good sign so far. Now some of you might already notice the problem that's here. I don't know much about what happened, but I do know there was a collision involved. And what it hit, I do not know. It wasn't tall enough to hit high up here, but it was low and pretty solid because it ripped this apart. Now my preliminary observations, we'll do a little of this. These all turn. When you hear the blade hit the bottom, that's not all bad. Sometimes I think that's momentum. This is an issue. This is an issue. I can already see an issue here. That's not good. I'm guessing there's these things have shear hubs where they're designed to fail. I hope that sounds okay. These are designed to fail. So when you hit something solid, instead of it breaking all of it, the shear hub inside here should break and just, you know, go loose. It's kind of like having a shear pin on a baler. Instead of breaking the whole machine, it has a designed point of failure, which I'm guessing is here. There's something moving. Probably shouldn't have my feet under the bar either, in case the hydraulics come down, or at least get some blocks. So I'm going to keep my feet and legs away from this thing. To have these in sync, they're supposed to be kind of, you know, perpendicular to each other. So this one goes this way, this goes this way, this should go like that. This should probably be a little different, I think, because you don't want, this is a problem here. That's the blades hitting each other, so that's not good. I'm hoping this is a simple fix where it's just a shear hub, because it feels like there's something that catches a little bit, to like, so you can move these a little. And that doesn't look bad. There's something that hit there. Maybe I bet blades have hit there before. That's what it looks like. Some blades have been hitting here. So there's nothing, from here on down, there's not a lot that makes me nervous. It's all over here. And like I said, this lower bar is not lined up. It still turns. If I turn, well, I guess the grooves are moving it. And I hit some blockage there. Like if you fired this up with the tractor, you probably hear ding, 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 ding. If this was hooked up. So this is a minor problem. That's going to be a bit of an issue. I think the biggest problem though is going to be over here. Most obvious is this right here. This should be lined up with this. And you probably can't see well from that angle, but they're probably off by this much. They're not lined up. Now here's the thing, I know if it was me, I wouldn't have bought this because I don't have the mechanical aptitude to straighten and cut and weld and straighten things. But my dad's an optimist, and I've seen him do other stuff that's fairly good, so I trust him. And for the most part, he's got not all the equipment to make it easy, but enough of the equipment to potentially get it done. So, and he's got faith in himself, and I guess I'll trust him. But here's what I'm, this is what I'm noticing to be a problem. All right, the other issue I'm noticing, trying to make sure my blades don't hit the tripod stand. Notice how far, if I put this pad of my thumb on the cutter, or the bolt for the blade, it is significantly far away from this shell. However, if I go on these other ones, if I put this pad on the other blade, this finger goes halfway up this next turtle shell. So really, I'm guessing this should be over here. This should actually be here. And then I got this drive shaft. There's this drive shaft here. So like I was saying, if I do this, the top of this index finger should be here when I have my hand here. So it needs to be over. That's a problem. So something hit here. You also notice, if you look closely in there, that's supposed to be a circle. And it's more oval. So something, you know, worked around in there and pulled it out from this other one. See, that one's okay. That one's okay. That's not okay. That doesn't look okay. So it pulled it away. I'm guessing there's something that made a pretty hard contact right here in this area. And this thing hit it, shattered that piece, and it looks like it had been welded before. So something had happened here before, and this was a point of weakness. You know, this here too. That's pretty obvious. In this area, something hit. Or maybe, this is weird because it's missing a rock guard. See these curved here? This should be one here. There's one here. So I'm a little confused because if the point of contact was in this area, I would assume this would have a big dent in it as well. And that one's missing. But whatever hit it, pushed these away and dropped that shaft down and away. And then something pulled that bolt out. I think that might have sheared off. If you look in there, that's sheared off or broke away. So I'm a little confused. In our Heston 1340, the whole cutter bar is one piece. So to change these out, or to, instead of like, not necessarily change them out, but to get the power that's driven here across the bar, you have to look inside the bar itself, and there's idler gears that connect them. Instead of this drive shaft, you have a gear that drives the blade, and then two more in between that are gears that spin and then drive the next one, then two more, then the next one. That's in the Heston 1340. So the whole bar is one thing, and the entire bar is filled with oil to keep it lubricated. Whereas this is a modular system where each one is independent. So I'm learning things new as well as I make observations, and the modular system should make this easier to repair, except I don't know exactly what's happening. This doesn't look bent, but it's not like there's oil in here. This is just a mounting frame. And I was looking across this line where this crimp roller is, and I'm not seeing it where it's obvious where this bar got pushed closer to the crimper and over there it got pushed out this way. It looks consistent all the way across. And just to restate again, well, one thing, keep your legs out from under the bar. I'm not an expert in this stuff. I'm making these observations, put them online, and get some feedback from you. I don't see this being bent, which surprises me, because all the damage here, you would think they'd be bent here, unless these got, the rock guards got hit so hard, they twisted on the mounting bolts underneath the frame. So instead of the frame bending, I think the rock guards and the bolts they're mounted on got pushed and over. And I don't want to stick my head underneath this yet to look at what these bolts look like underneath the frame, because I'm out here by myself, and if this came down, well, it'd get messy. Anyway, so I'm thinking what happened was these got pushed in and over, separated this drive shaft. And there's score marks in this bar here. And it doesn't look like the other ones have it. A few do. This one does. Looks like blades have been hitting there before. And there's a mounts here. So, imagine this. Okay. Yeah. There's a little rail here. Oh. Then I'm looking at this. I wonder if that's supposed to be there. That might have to be there. I mean, that moves in that groove a little bit. That's pretty far over. So all this is over. I'm hoping it's as simple as just replacing all this stuff here. Just take it all. Shells, shear hub, blades, rock guard, drive shaft, whatever you want to call these little pieces here. I mean, this might still be fine. I might be able to keep this stuff, the shaft, and even this little wheel over it. I don't know. That might not be a good idea. So yeah, it'd be nice to think we don't have to torch and cut stuff up and re-weld it, but we're gonna find out.